Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here and welcome back to another Aether Gazer video. So as you can see, I was able to get the boy Flame Tier. Now unfortunately I did not record it, I do apologize, but I got him a lot sooner than I thought I was going to, which is fantastic for me because I have been getting shafted on these banners as of late, but Flame Tier treated me right. So it only took me about 56 pulls, so about 2 multis after that initial video. So that was really good. I won the 50-50, got it early before the pity, so that was really nice. And then for the signature Funter, I was able to pull that on the first 10 pulls. So needless to say, Flame Tier treated me fantastic, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Now in today's video, I just want to go over my current build, maybe talk about some teams, go over his kit slightly. I'm going to do a high overview. I'm not going to go too in depth. And then do some gameplay and showcasing. Also give you my thoughts and first impressions on Flame Tier. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video. I do hope you get some value from it. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop in. We're going to head over here. Now, one thing I did want to mention, in terms of his signature Funter, I did play without the signature Funter. So I was using the general 5-star Yggdrasil one. And what I will say is that one worked out perfectly fine. I'll go more in depth about the signature Funter here in just a second. But as you can see, my Flame Tier is base S rank. A little over 23,000 CP. I think that's pretty good. Almost 7k attack. And then you can see my crit rate and crit damage, 48% for 32% for the crit damage. Not too bad, right? I would like that to be a little bit better. Probably in swapped order, but it's okay. You know, it is what it is. Moving over to the skills, fully maxed out. Flame Tier, well, first and foremost, I need to talk about his design. 10 out of 10, right? His design's fantastic. I really do like the way this modifier looks. I think they did a great job with his design. Now, with that also being said, his skills and his kit, he is incredibly unique, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I really am, but I think I like him more than I do Ying Zhao. In terms of gameplay, design, Ying Zhao, right? 12 out of 10, Ying Zhao design. But when it comes to the gameplay, he fits more of my gameplay style, and it feels, I don't know what it is, it just feels better. And I think it's because you swap between Gauntlet, you know, fisticuffs, and using the sword. And it's just a lot of fun, right? It just feels very versatile, feels very fluid. It feels like you're having 2 mons in one almost, and I think that is why I like him a little bit more, and I'm drawn to his gameplay a little bit more. Not to mention, he feels just as impactful as Ying Zhao in terms of hits. He's just, I don't know, he kind of is right up my alley, and having that sword be out on the field, just doing its thing while you're doing your thing, and then when we get into the Aether codes and we talk about the Falco punch that I call it, and the way that each Aether code makes him feel very different, it feels very unique. Each Aether code that you put on him, we'll go more in depth about that here in just a second, but needless to say, he's incredibly fun to play, and he is, in my opinion, incredibly strong as well. If you invest into him, if you put the right team around him, if you build him up correctly, this man can hit like an absolute truck. His skills do a lot of damage. He has good multipliers on his percentages for his skills, and he also has, you know, buffing capabilities and shredding capabilities for his elements. So he is really a one-man army when it comes to that. So I do really like his skills, and I do really like his gameplay style. Moving over to the signature Funter, once again, I do have it, and I have his access key fully maxed out. Now, in terms of the signature Funter, it is a good one for him. Of course it is, right? It's his signature Funter. That's the case for all modifiers. But what I will say, in my humble opinion, is that it's not a necessity. I think you can get away with the general 5-star one. Once again, I used it extensively, and I was doing just fine without having to have the signature Funter. But the signature Funter is really good for him, being able to output more damage and things of that nature. So it's just good if you're really trying to make him your main DPS and you want him to obviously hit as hard as possible. The signature Funter is going to be very valuable, plus it plays into some of his Aether codes, so it's really good. But once again, I just don't think it's a necessity. If you're only able to get Flame Tier, that's perfectly fine. Just put the 5-star general one on him, or what I think is even a pretty sneaky good option is this one right here. Not this one, this one right here. For every hit landed on the enemy with a normal attack, increases skill damage by 4.8% for 5 seconds. Obviously, you put some transcendence in here, that's going to go up, and then the effect can stack up to 5 times. And when the stack count is 5, no further stacking can occur in the next 9 seconds. So I think this is actually a very sneaky good option to go ahead and put on him if you don't have the 5-star general one. You know, I was even contemplating this one over the 5-star general, but you know, it's just the benefits you get from this one is really good as well. So to each their own, but I think the signature Funter is not a necessity in my opinion. I think it's really good. It's obviously going to be his best in slot, but you don't have to have it in my, and you could wait to get this down the road, right? Moving over to the Sigils, I did decide to go with the Rage one, just because I feel it's important to get the Rage as quickly as possible and things of that nature. I think it was, for me anyways, for my gameplay style, just better, but the other one is just as good, if not probably slightly better to use on him. I think it might just be a preference at that point. And then of course the Peacekeeper's Blessing I put on him. Now for these skill effects, as you can see, I have 874. Not the worst, right? It was pretty good on my first rolls. I'm pretty happy with that, and I got 2 on the Fire Blessing. Really quickly, I have to show you guys this because this rarely ever happens. Where do I have it at? I gotta show you guys. This was pretty nutty. I was actually stoked about this. Look at this one. Fire Blessing 2 in the same enchant right there. That was pretty nutty. Anyways, had to show you guys that. But that is, or those are my skill effects for Flame Tier. Warps. Now, I don't have them fully warped out. We all know about resources. I went ahead and put Savage because, once again, I was not using his signature Funter. I was using just a general 5-star one. And so I was going with his blue Aether code path at the time, which I think is incredibly fun to play. And so I thought Savage for that code path in particular, is very beneficial. So that's why I went Savage. But now that I have his signature Funter and I use a different code, I think I'm going to switch out the Savage. I might still keep it because I still find myself, you know, losing health, and that's just the thing with him. But I'm probably going to switch that one out. I did go with the cooldown of skill 3 just because the skill 3 has a very long cooldown. And I think if you can get that down quicker, it's going to be more beneficial. So that is my thought process there. I went on the skill 3 as well just because I think the skill 3 hits hard. Now, I will say if you do go with the red code, I think going all in on the skill 1 might be incredibly good to do. So that might be another option because I like to flop between those. But anyways, and then I went Telepathize 1, and then Power Up Melee is all that I can do for the time being. I'm going to continue working on his warps. Now, moving over to the codes, I like the yellow code. I really do. Once again, I like all the codes. I think each code that you use on Flame Tier allows you to play incredibly different than the other ones, right? If you go the blue code, you're sacrificing health for more damage, and then you can heal yourself back up. It's a very fun playstyle, and I think Corrupted Ryuguri might have taken some notes from Flame Tier, and that's how they designed Flame Ryuguri, or Corrupted Ryuguri, excuse me. So I think the blue code is very fun to play. It's a high risk, high reward type of playstyle. If you are very skillful at your dodges and you know how to manage your health, I think the blue code is incredibly fun. The red code is very fun as well. Once again, I call this one the Falco punch because the skill 1 does that devastating punch, and the more rage you use, the more damage you do from it. And you can really get optimal with the red code. So I think the red code is really good. And then the yellow code is basically the sword stance mode, where you're just trying to get back into that sword stance as quick as possible, so that way you can do the most damage, and all about the brands and stuff like that. So I think I think all of the codes are very different, very unique, and has you play Flame Tier in a very different style, which I truly like. But right now I'm using the yellow code, but I do like to flip-flop between the red and the yellow. And then I'll do the blue every now and again when I want to get, you know, kind of spicy with it. And then for the chips, you know, that's all I have is the 8. So that is my Flame Tier in a nutshell at this time. I'm still going to be optimizing him. I really like this modifier. He's a lot of fun to use. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead. Oh, teams. I forgot to talk about teams. In terms of teams, I like to use, one of my favorite teams to use right now is Ling Wong with them and Heimdall. I specifically built out my Heimdall officially, almost officially. I still need the last sigil here, but almost officially built out my Heimdall specifically for Flame Tier because of the Yggdrasil Gen Zone. But I think Heimdall is one of the best modifiers that you could put alongside Flame Tier because of the Gen Zone, but also the buffing that she does. And I think it's just a very good pairing. Ling Wong for the obvious reasons. Ling Wong with the, you can go red code or you can go blue code, in my opinion, to get more fire damage, fire resistant shred, and you know, being able to buff Flame Tier as much as possible. Or you can go red code to have a tanky shield and then that buffing that you have there. But also, once again, the shield. The shield is what really is beneficial with Ling Wong outside of all the other supporting capabilities. The shield is very good for Flame Tier, just because he's more of a melee, not more of, he is a melee type of modifier. So the shield is going to be very important. So that's the team that I like running. If not Heimdall, for whatever reason, if you don't have Heimdall built up and you have Hera sitting in the wing, you could definitely use Hera, Ling Wong, and have a hyper buff for Flame Tier. Heimdall and Ling Wong's a hyper buff as well, but you can do this and that'll be very beneficial. Or obviously when we talk about teammates, Flame Ryuguri is going to be one of the best teammates that you could put with them just because of the ultimate skill chain. If we move over here and we go to the ultimate skill chain, it's actually a really good one with Flame Tier. You can see teammates deal 40% more fire damage. That is pretty significant, pretty chunky. Now, the thing about it for me personally is, and this is probably going to be for some people, if you don't have Flame Ryuguri built up already, I don't know if it's worth building them up just for the ultimate skill chain. And the reason being is because later down the road in the future, you're going to have Corrupted Ryuguri come out. And I think Flame Ryuguri just gets replaced by Corrupted Ryuguri. So it's like you're kind of wasting resources building him up. Even though he's a very strong modifier, especially with the Synchro buff, and then that ultimate skill chain is good. And some people might just like Flame Ryuguri better than Corrupted Ryuguri, but I just feel like for most people, you're going to be just replacing him in the future. So I just don't see that being the case. But if you have him built up already, then of course he's going to be probably best in slot, and then with Heimdall and that team cooks, right? Or you could even do Ling Wong instead of Heimdall if you want to, and that team's going to be very, very strong. So you can do Flame Ryuguri, but I don't know if you really need to. You could even, if you want to get really unique with it, you can slot in Sakura, you can slot in Asura. Those are some other options as well. It just really depends on what you have on your account and what you're able to do. Or even Gung Chen. I'm going to be honest with you, the Ling Wong Gung Chen team for the Tianwan Gen Zone, and then you slot in Flame Tier. That team, don't sleep on that team, because you have the CC with the Gather, you have the shield, you have the buffing. That team is really good, and then you have the Tianwan Gen Zone. That team it's actually really good, so you could try that one out as well. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into some gameplay, some showcasing, and see what he's capable of. Okay, so I did want to go ahead and showcase the Gung Chen Ling Wong team, because I think some people will think I'm bluffing about it. So I'm going to showcase this team. I will come back in a different video and showcase other teams, of course. But I did want to go ahead and showcase this one, because I think this team actually does some work. So, and remember, we're using the yellow code. So the yellow code's all about getting that sword back and getting back into that sword stance as quickly as possible. Where is the boss here? All right, here we go. Yeah, I think it's a very, very strong team. Did I get hit? I did get hit, and I'm on mobile. I got to get better with the mobile in terms of gameplay. I've been working on it. Obviously, that's all I could play on at the time because of the, you know, situations, but I'll get better. And it might lag a little bit because I don't have the best phone in the world. All right, let's do that. Let's do that and just try and cook. Absolutely cook. Let's do the skills again. And you want to try and get the Scorch, you know, obviously as high as possible. That's not bad. That wasn't a bad amount of damage. I'm not gonna lie. You know, Flame Tier is really good. Now, oh, he's dead. I was gonna say, now I did want to go and talk about if he's worth pulling for or not. I think he's worth it if you really like him, and if you plan on really investing all your resources into him and building him up to be as strong as possible. I think he is worth it, because you could see he could put out some tremendous amount of damage. But if we're talking about in the future, right, relative to what we're going to be getting here soon, I think it's probably best to skip. Maybe wait for a rerun. Hopefully he comes back with Corrupted Ryuguri. That might be a good time to pick him up. I would save, right? Relative to Mitsuha and Izanami, he can't really hold a candle to them. But he is strong in his own right, and you could see he has a diverse amount of teams. I thought he was going to be pretty niche with his teams. Now he can fit on a couple of different teams and do really well and perform really well. And he's incredibly fun to use. He's a lot of fun to use. So if you really like him, if you've been waiting for him, yeah, of course, he's a great pickup. You're not going to be disappointed. But relative to like Mitsuha and Izanami, you probably want to save for them, and then maybe get Flame Tier if hopefully he comes back with Corrupted Ryuguri. We'll have to see. But anyways, quick showcase, quick gameplay. I will come back with more teams to showcase for you guys with Flame Tier, so I do hope you look forward to that, and thank you all for the support. I'll see you all next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody. You call me further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.